All right, let's see if we can get us going. Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead and share this out so folks can join us. Let's see. Let me send it on TikTok and on Facebook. That way folks can join us. All right, let's go. All right, let's see. Good morning. How you doing, sis? Good morning. Glad to have you here. All right. Took me a while to get it together, but honey, we doing it. We getting it done. We getting it done. Yes, indeed. And let me see, how do I do this? Let me open this up. Yes, let's go. Okay, do that and pin. All right, good. Cool deal, good deal. Let me go ahead and share it too. Let's see how I can share it over here as well. We're going to get us started in just a minute, y'all. I'm just trying to get everything out to everybody. So give me just a second. Do not make the same mistakes I made when moving to Bangkok. As a matter of fact, let me help you. All right. Copy. And go over to TikTok and paste it over there. So folks can get the information over there as well. All right, I think we're good. Messenger. And all right, all right, all right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna get us started. Thank y'all for coming on in. Okay, I'm gonna need some audience participation to get us going. I am going to share my screen, but I need to y'all need to let me know if it is going through and if you do see it. So I need some help with that. All right, let me go back over here and come on in. All right, cool. Let me share it, see if it comes up. All right. Y'all let me know if you can see my screen. I think we're live. I think we got it going on. I think we got it. I believe so. All right. But let me know in the chat. Come back over here to the chat. Let me know if you see my screen. How you doing, Lalise? How you doing? All right. Can y'all see me? Can you see the screen? Let me know. Let me know if you can see my screen. I'm new. Y'all know I'm just starting off. It's only my 7th time going live on YouTube, so I got to make sure that I'm doing it and y'all can see what I'm presenting. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if we're there. Okay, looks like we're there. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick review. This is our introduction to financial markets and stock investing with HillmanTok stock market education course provided by Dr. Kelly and Stock Ops Trading Academy. All right. So I always want to start off and let you know the new face of the stock market looks like yours. All right. Because we have been led to believe that we have not are not a part of the stock market. We are, and it's moving up and doing well. So um, I talked about in week one, I talked about the players on the stock market, the investor, stockbroker, the exchange, and the bank. We talked about understanding the different types of investment vehicles. Y'all know I live on the beach, so on Sundays is when they cruise. So you might hear some cool music flowing by. So we talked about low risk, moderate risk, and higher risk uh, um, vehicles, instruments. All right. And then we talked about how stocks are bought and sold and how I get together every year in my Stock Options Trading Academy trading retreat in Puerto Rico. And we just go and trade, make money, and just having a good time. So when we put it all together, I talked about being a retail investor. That's how we are. That's how we show up. And I use high risk what's considered high risk investment vehicles like stocks and options. I use a middleman like Robinhood. It gives me access to the stock exchange, specifically the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Then we got into week 2 and we talked about the different investment instruments. We talked about stocks and how they work. We talked about mutual funds and how they work. We talked about bonds, how they work. And then we got into ETFs and how they work. So I gave a good breakdown of that. Then I showed you top 10 ETFs. And then I gave you 2 particular apps that can help you start making money in the stock market. Right. And then in week 3, that was the week it went down. So I talked about a boot camp that I have that I teach people basic things, but those are all in video trainings now. So all you have to do is get the video training, watch it, and then you can start making money. Then we get into stock week 4. We start talking about how does the stock market work in detail, right? So now we get more specific about how we do it. We talked about different brokerages. We talked about the different order types, okay? And then I broke down bull market versus bear market, and I showed you what they look like, okay? All right. All right. And then we talked about different time frames of how we start looking at the stock market depending upon what type of trade you want to do. Okay. Then we got into week 5 and we started talking about how to make a living with it, how to make money, how to lose money, because you need to know what not to do. You need to know what not to do so you can make money. Okay. So I highlighted some of those things. And then I talked about what people do wrong again so you can know what not to do. Okay. So I broke that down. And then I talked about having a solid strategy. These are all strategies that I have created, and I am either getting them trademarked or they have already been trademarked. So that way, you know, I'm serious about what I do. And then I get into how to read stock charts for beginners. Okay. And then I welcome you to join the Stock Options Trading Academy. Go to my link tree and get whatever program you want. All right, then we got into week 6 and we got into more specifically about how to read stock charts and ticker symbols, right? But we might not know how to break this down. I shared about how exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, when I was in New York a couple years ago. All right, so I broke all that stuff down. Again, make sure you go back and look at the video so you can understand this. I'm just giving you a quick repeat of what we went through. All right. And then I talked about my Wolf of Wall Street course, right? And how I walk people and hold their hand for 12 weeks so that I can teach them 8 different ways to make money in the stock market. Okay. So whatever you need, you go to my link tree and get whatever training you want. Do you want to learn how to invest with stocks? That's in there. Do you want to do options? That's in there. Do you want to get my book? That's in there. All right. So now we are in week 7. So let's get to the material in week 7. This is a breakdown of stock market cycles and the economic cycles. Okay. So in this diagram, you can see which sectors and commodities generally perform better or worse. All right. So let me do this. So in the stock market, we have an early bull cycle. We talked about the bull cycle earlier. We have a middle bull cycle and we have a late bull cycle. All right. So let's go back and look at it and break it down. Okay. So we're talking this right here, this time frame right here. In the early bull cycle, okay, that's when the market is going up. the stocks and sectors that are making the most money are transportation, financials, technology, capital goods, basic industry, and then we talk about the energy and precious metals as the stock market is going up. Okay. And then on the flip side, as the market's coming down, as the market is going down, we have an early bear, a middle bear, and a late bear. So this is the bull market, and this is the bear market. So it's showing you the as the stock market is going and is doing well, right? And I talked about how the end of October, the beginning of November is when we have a bull market. All right. It starts off what's called the Santa Claus rally. All right. So we know the time. I told you it was around the end of October, the beginning of November. That's when we have this happening and it's going to start taking off, right? And not just at that time, because the stock market, as we know, is cyclical. So we do know that there's not just one time, there's several times. Okay. So as the beginning of it, we can see what sectors are going to be moving at the different time frames. And then when it reaches the top, it changes and then starts going down into a bear market. Okay. Now, in an early bear market, we're talking about healthcare, consumers, and non cyclicals. Then we have utilities in the middle bear. And then late bear market, we have financials, consumer, cyclicals. Okay. So again, I listed them out. So that way you can have an idea of what stocks are going to be moving and making you money as you are going through the cycles. Over here is the bear market, and we see that healthcare and consumer non-cyclicals, middle bear, utilities, late bear, these are all the ones that are moving or we expect to move as we are going through the stock market cycles. Now, the other thing you should know is we also expect we expect this market to move around the end of May, but definitely in the summer, we expect the stock market to start moving, right? So if we think of the early bull as maybe the beginning of April, beginning of May, and then the middle bull is somewhere around June, and then the late bull market would be July, okay? Whereas over here, we're expecting the early bear to be around January, the end of January. And then the middle bear market to be February, and then into March. And then late bear, end of March, beginning of April. All right. So that gives you an idea. Let me go back to the picture so we could see it again. That gives you an idea of how to put the actual months of the year onto this so that you know what's happening and you know which stocks are going to be the ones, which sectors are going to be the ones that you should be looking at so that you can kind of ride the wave and make money with them as they're moving. So just to go market. So again, let's say we're expecting this to be somewhere around the beginning of May. We should be looking at the transportation sector and the financial sector. Then I would say around the end of, I would say the end of May, we're going to be looking at technology. Then in the middle of the bull market, where that's going to be around June, we're going to be looking at capital goods. And then the late bull market, we're going to look at that around July. We're expecting basic industry stock, the sector to start moving. And then at the top, so this would probably be the beginning of August is when you're expecting the energy and the precious metals to start moving. Okay. Down. Early bear would be September because we know that September is the worst of the year for the stock market. Okay. So we got early bear. Then we get to the middle bear. That's around the beginning of September, moving into mid September. And then late bear would be the end of, I'd say October. Should be October, sorry. The middle of October toward the end of October. And then late bear would definitely be the end of October, because then is where you're expecting the Santa Claus rally to start taking off. So early bear, that was what I said about September. We're looking at healthcare, consumer non-cyclicals. Then the middle bear is around October. You're looking at the utilities. And then the late, which is the end of October, maybe the beginning of September, it should be ending, is when you're looking at financials, consumer non. So this gives you an idea of how to actually know by the months what's happening and what stocks are going to be moving. Okay. All right. So now that we got that out and we kind of put it together, let's now look at the 11 sectors in the stock market. Okay. So here we have them listed: energy, materials, industrials, utilities, healthcare, financials, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, information tech, communication services, and real estate. Now, always know there's 11 GICS sectors. And let me now show you a very important resource so that you can always start looking at the top 3 to 5 stocks in each sector. This website is finviz.com. Finviz.com. So we see technology sector. I'm circling it with my mouse right here. We see consumer cyclical. We see consumer defensive, communication services, industrials, real estate, utilities, healthcare, energy, basic materials, and financials. So now you can simply write down on your sheet of paper in your notes the top 3 to 5 stocks in each section. Okay. And then you can start going back up to the cyclical market and then start matching those stocks to the different time frames. That way you are really understanding, okay, I expect these stocks, I expect these ones here to take off in what months of the year. All right. So now we can put the whole picture together and start understanding why stocks move at the times that they do. Picture together for you. All right. Give you all the clues so that you can start making the money you want to make based on the stocks you invest in. And I always suggest going to each of these and finding the top 3 to 5 stocks. Okay. All right. So that's our quick lesson for today, along with the review. I welcome you to look at all the other ones, and we have one more week to go so that we can understand a full 8 weeks worth of basic stock market education. All right. So I welcome you. If you want to join my Just Got Paid party, we have them every single Friday. Then by all means, click this link, get the training. You're going to get a training, you're going to get an app, and you're going to get specific stocks that so that you can get paid. TikTok, I think I pinned it to the top. So you're more than welcome to go there, get what you need so you can join us and start making money with us. All right. So that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday for week 8, which is the final week of the HillmanTok course for stock market education. Have a good one. Take care now.